Hello, my name is Theresa, and this is the Buffalo Room, where the Family Life Storytelling Program takes place. February is National Indigenous Storytelling Month, and we want to share part of our program with classrooms that are not visiting at this moment. Are you ready to hear a story? Let's begin. How the Turtle Got Its Shell. Little Beaver liked the winter very much because that was the only time of year that grandfather would tell stories. Mushum, which is Cree for grandfather, would only tell stories in the evening, otherwise no work would get done. Mushum told him of how the buffalo gave them all the things that they needed to live. He told them stories about all the plants and animals, how they came to be in the world, and how the people could use them. He learned all about the people, the animals, and the way he should behave through grandfather's stories. Little Beaver and his cousin Crowhawk spent much of their day with Mushum, especially when his father, his uncles, his cousins were out hunting. For Little Beaver, all of these people are part of his family. Little Beaver especially liked the stories of Wasakichuk. Wasakichuk is the Cree trickster, and he has many superpowers. He is the good and bad of human beings all rolled up into one. He could transform himself into an animal or into a human being. And the tricksters were either helpful and giving gifts and good advice to the people, or they were mischievous, pulling tricks on people or being greedy and selfish. On this particular day, it was very, very cold. It was the moon of the popping trees in December when the cold air makes the trees creak and pop from the cold. Little Beaver's mom was busy with his auntie's teepee. The men were out hunting, and the other women were busy cooking or sewing. Everybody was busy except Little Beaver and Crowhawk. The boys wrapped blankets around themselves and sat by the fire and let out big sighs. "Why the sad faces?" asks a voice. Little Beaver turns around and there's Mushum. "We don't have anything to do." Mushum says, "Well, why don't you go help Kokum gather firewood?" "Oh, that's for girls to do," says Little Beaver. "I know. Why don't you tell us a story about Wasakichuk?" "Stories are best for night when all the work is done," said Mushum. Please, Mushum, tell us a story about Wasakichuk." "Well, okay, I'll tell you one short story," says Mushum. And he settles himself on his willow backrest, and he pulls his blankets around him and says, "I'll tell you one short story, and I'm going to tell you a solo trickster story. Do you remember last year, Little Crow, when you were down by the river and you saw that turtle and it had an interesting shell on its back and it was very, very beautiful? Well, a long time ago, turtles did not have shells, and it happened this way. Turtle did not have a shell. He spent a lot of time hiding in caves and under rocks to keep from being eaten, to stay away from his predators. Nanabush is the solo trickster, and he is like Wasakichuk, usually helping or playing tricks on the people and animals. On this particular day, Nanabush is very hungry and he decides to go fishing. So he heads out in his birch bark canoe down the river looking for a good fishing spot. And he sets out trying to catch some fish. Well, he's just having no luck at all. And he's like, "Where are these fish? How come I can't catch anything?" And his stomach starts to talk to him. "I'm hungry. When are you going to feed me? I am starving." Turtle was sitting on some rocks near the shore, and he could see Nanabush was struggling and not catching any fish. He calls out to him, "My brother, why don't you try farther down the river where the rocks are? That's a good fishing spot." "Thanks, Turtle, I'll do that." And off he goes in his canoe farther down. Well, this was an excellent fishing spot, and Nanabush caught lots and lots of fish. He started off his fire, he cooked a big fish meal for himself. He was fat and full, went to sleep, had a big nap. Well, he woke up. "Oh, that was such a good meal. Now I am going to go and look for my friend and thank him for telling me about that wonderful fishing spot." So he spots him on shore. Turtle, come on over here." So Turtle makes his way over to Nana Bush. And he says, I've got something for you. You wait here. So Nana Bush looks around for a nice round rock. And he begins to paint a beautiful design on it. Turtle, come on over here. And Nana Bush places the rock on it. And it becomes his shell. And he shows him, this is your new home. And he shows him how to tuck his legs and his head, don't forget your tail, into his new home. What a beautiful home of my own, says Turtle. Thank you so much, Nana Bush. And that, said Mushum, is how the turtle got its shell and how we learn from Nana Bush that it is always good to be helpful, to be a good friend. It is always good to repay kindness with kindness. Turtle received a wonderful gift because he helped Nana Bush's brother find some fish, find a good lunch. So later that night, as little Beaver lay under his warm buffalo blanket, he thinks about the day in the turtle story. He thinks about the lesson in Mushum's story. Nana Bush and Turtle helped each other out, just like we have to. If we do not help one another, it will be harder to survive the winter months. If the men don't work together to hunt, there will not be any food to eat, and there will not be any hides to make the home or the warm winter clothes. If the children do not help by gathering firewood or babysitting their baby brothers and sisters, the adults will not be able to get their work done, and we may go cold and hungry. If you are kind to one another and helpful, you will be treated the same way with kindness. There is a saying, what goes around comes around. Life is a circle, like the turtle shell and the teepee. Everything in the circle of life is important. As little Beaver goes to sleep that night, he thinks about, what can I do tomorrow? Maybe what I will do is I will go help gather firewood. The end. So tell me, what do you think is the lesson today? That's right. The lesson is to be kind and to help one another. And I hope that during National Indigenous Storytelling Month in February that you are able to listen to stories and to celebrate the importance of stories in the oral tradition. Thank you.